Hello and welcome to our Literacy and Numeracy Workshop for Nursery. I would just like to introduce you to the nursery staff. We have myself, Mrs Garth, we have Mrs Yalland, Mrs Haslett, Mrs Jones, we also have Mrs O'Neill and Miss Hereford. So, the purpose of this session today is to help parents and carers to support their child's learning at home, whether it's lockdown or whether you just generally want to help your child. It's to provide resources and activities which you can use at home, and there is a free goodie bag if you register when you have watched this video. It's going to highlight some of the online tools that we provide for the children to use at home. This will mainly be Seesaw in nursery, and we've already given you your login details for that, so should you need to use Seesaw at home. And we will also give you some information about what will happen if there is a lockdown period and how you can do work with your child at home. So, first of all, I'm going to go over some of the expectations we have in early years or in nursery for what we expect your children to be able to do. But please remember that children do develop at different stages, so don't worry if they can't do all of these things and they can only do some of them. They will get there eventually. So, for literacy, we expect children to start using simple sentences when they talk. We like them to join in with songs and rhymes. We hope they can be able to respond to one or two simple instructions. We'd like them to recognise their name in print, and it might not be their full name, but they might be able to just recognise the first letter of their name. We'd like them to be able to begin to read a few letter sounds in print. For example, they might see some letters when you're out shopping, and they might be able to say what sound that letter makes. And we hope that they can hold a pencil correctly using what we call the tripod grip. We'll go into that in more detail later on. And we like them to be able to write their first letter in their name, more than one letter, and possibly all of the letters in their name. Now I'm going to go over what we expect children to be able to do in maths and numeracy when they're in nursery. We hope that children can recite numbers forward to 10. That just means saying the numbers out loud. We hope that they can touch count using their fingers up to 5 objects. We'd like them to be able to read numbers up to 5. Again, that could be anywhere. It can be in the home, it can be in the supermarket, it could be on cars, anywhere that you see numbers. Try and encourage children to name those numbers. We hope that they can recognise and name basic colours. We hope that they can recognise and name simple shapes, which is circle, square, rectangle and triangle. And we'd like them to be able to sort colours and shapes into groups. Early expectations of self-help skills. It's really important for children to become independent in nursery. It gives them lots of confidence and it helps their learning. What we'd like them to be able to do in nursery is to use the toilet independently. We like them to wash and dry their hands by themselves. We also like them to help put away toys and resources. We like them to be able to put on their own coats, and this is a bit tricky, but it's important to stick with it. We don't expect them to be able to do buttons and zips yet, just put their arms in their coats. And a really important thing is that children need to ask for help when needed. It's great to try things by yourself, but sometimes you need to ask for help as well. So what are we going to cover in this session? Well, we're going to help you to learn how to help your child develop their coordination. We're going to give you ideas of how to help your child develop their fine motor skills. We're going to look at how to help your child develop early literacy skills, as well as developing early numeracy and mathematical skills. So we're going to look at physical skills first. Physical skills are so important in early years. In fact, really, physical skills need to be practiced and practiced before all the other things can be learned. It's such an important skill. So, physical movement has a huge impact on all areas of learning. And it's really important for children from as early as possible to be moving and balancing and climbing and running and jumping. It's an important skill as it helps to scaffold all other areas of learning. I cannot emphasise how important it is for children to be moving. So these could be things like jumping and climbing and crawling and rolling. It could be climbing on apparatus in the park. It could be riding trikes and scooters and cars. It can be copying actions from you. It could be doing action songs and rhymes. Dancing. It could be them just putting on their favourite song in the house and dancing around the house. And it could be just kicking a ball around the garden. All of these things are really, really important. Hand-eye coordination. So this is controlled movement where your eyes watch your hands when you are doing things like picking up objects or placing objects or grasping objects. And this is a really important skill that is needed for your child to develop their writing skills. Most of the home activities will help to develop hand-eye coordination. Even though they're literacy and numeracy based, they will also be helping hand-eye coordination and their fine motor skills as well. So, what are fine motor skills? Well, fine motor skills is using your hands to manipulate objects. So this might be things like putting construction together, or using resources like Lego and Duplo, or building towers with wooden blocks. It's really important that they do lots of picking up objects using their finger and their thumb, and that helps to develop this movement called the pincer grip, which is really important for them to have to be ready for writing. It could be using tools such as paintbrushes or Play-Doh tools or clay tools and scissors. That is a really, really tricky skill to learn, scissor skills, and it is really important that this is practiced at home. Threading beads also helps with the pincer grip, and sewing, but obviously using little plastic needles to keep it safe. Let's warm up our hands, stretch those fingers, stretch your fingers out. So, what are literacy skills? Literacy skills are listening skills. They're oracy skills, that means speaking and talking. They are reading skills and writing skills. So, to help with listening skills at home, sing lots and lots of rhymes with your child. Read stories and try and find time for conversation with them. And try and set an example by being a good listener and waiting your turn to speak. And I know it's quite difficult in our busy lives to try and find time to do this, but 5 or 10 minutes of good conversation time every day is really, really beneficial to your child. Oracy skills. Encourage your child to use newly learned words. These are usually naming objects. Get them to copy words. Get them to take turns to speak. This is really, really important. And get them to try and speak in simple, complete sentences and model those sentences for them. We cannot emphasise enough how important nursery rhymes are for children this age. It helps them to tune into new words and the patterns in words. They are so, so important. So try and take time to learn some simple nursery rhymes. Early reading skills. So in nursery, this usually involves beginning to recognise the letters in their name, even if it's just the first letter. And then we might move on and try and recognise some letters through doing jolly phonics. I'm going to show you some videos now. Now in your packs, when you register, you will have most of the resources that I'm going to show you in the video clips. So the first one we're going to watch is just tracing over the child's letter name.
Can you trace over the letter for your name?
Down, and across the middle.
That was brilliant, well done. Oh, can you show me what you've done? Wow, well done. What? It's in the magic hat. What's that?
Ambulance.
What sound does that begin with? Good girl. Can you find the letter ah? Oh, bendy-geddig. Okay, pass the hat to the next person. What's in the magic hat? What's that? An igloo. What sound is at the beginning of igloo? What sound does it make? Diane. Okay, let's pass the magic hat on. Pick something out of the magic hat. What is going to be next? What?
Penguin.
Oh, Diane. What does penguin begin with? What sound is that? Good girl. Pop it on the letter P. I with my little eye. Something beginning with S. What begins with S?
Snail. Snail.
The snail, Diane. I spy with my little eye something beginning with A.
Iris.
Ambulance. Bendy-geddig. I spy with my little eye something beginning with T. Something beginning with T. Yeah, go on. What is it? Oh, you're so close. What is it?
Teapot.
Teapot.
We're going to look at how to help with early writing skills next. Now, when children are very, very small, we're not expecting them to be doing lots and lots of beautiful writing, although their writing is beautiful, but it's just about giving them the experience of using mark-making tools and getting them scribbling and getting them used to holding pens and pencils. This can be done in lots of ways. This could be just making marks with their fingers in sand or in shaving foam. You can use pens and chalks. You could even get sticks and draw shapes in the mud. You can use lots of different tools. You can use things like holding pens and pencils and paintbrushes and sticks. You could even get sticks and draw shapes. So you could dip the sticks in puddles and draw shapes on the floor. It could be anything that makes marks. And it's really important that the children learn the language of movement to help with their writing later on. So beginning to learn things like what up means and what down means, and actually physically getting them to do that. Going up and down and around, because that then will follow on to letter formation. So, I'm going to show you a clip now. This is called Squiggle While You Wiggle, and it's a way of getting the children to move and to learn that language for early writing. It can be done on large sheets of paper. Sometimes we might do it on smaller pieces of paper. We do generally try to do it where the children are using both hands, because it really, really exercises the brain and exercises your movements. So I'm going to show you a little clip of how we do that in nursery. Let's go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, round, and round, round, and round, round, and round. Dot, 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 up, and down. Let's look at letter formation. So this may start off as the children making letter-like marks. It might be circles and lines and dots, and it's just simple mark making. Next, they may move on to tracing over letters. So it could be where you write their name for them and they may be able to trace over those letters. Then it may move on to where you write letters or they name for them and they're able to copy those letters underneath. And then it may go on to writing a few letters or letter-like shapes from their memory. We're going to watch a video clip now of where we use sand to develop letter formation. The children love using sand. It's quite nice because they can shake it and they can keep redoing it. So in your packs you will have a little sand tray for you to practice letter formation with your child.
Write the letter N for me. Top to bottom, up and over and flick. Brilliant, well done.
Next we're going to talk about writing names. So, children might again start making letter-like shapes for their names, and that's perfectly fine, and really praise that when they do that. They may start to trace over letters in the names. In nursery we have their name cards and they trace over those on a daily basis, and it's the same as the ones you had in your learning packs when they first started nursery. It might be then that they move on to being able to write their first letter in their name from memory all by themselves. And it may be that they start to write several letters in their name or all of the name. And don't worry if they're not writing all of their name. It's really good if they start to write just their first letter or some of the letters in their name. That would be great. We're now going to look at early number skills in nursery. Counting songs and rhymes are really useful. They help children to remember numbers, to learn number sequences. So try and learn lots and lots of different songs and rhymes that have numbers in them. We're going to show you one example. In your packs you have a set of ducks and ducklings that you can cut out. Again, that will help to develop the fine motor skills, but please make sure that you help your child to cut them out safely. You can colour them in, stick them on the lollipops sticks, and then you can join in with the number rhyme.
How many ducklings are there? Can you count them for me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's sing 5 little ducks went swimming one day. Are we ready?
Yeah. 5
Little ducks.
swimming one day over the hills and with a big fat backpack, and then there's only
How many are left?
4.
And only 4 little ducks came back. 4 little ducks.
Swimming one day over the hill and far away with a backpack, and then there's only 3.
And only 3 little ducks came back.
Counting objects is a really important skill. It's quite tricky, and again you have to be able to use your hand-eye coordination to do this well. It's really important that the children take their time when counting, and this means that they actually count objects with their fingers, like so. We're going to show you one of the activities you have in your packs, where the children need to peg the spikes on the hedgehogs. This again will help with those fine motor movements, and it will strengthen the muscles in their hands as well as helping them to count objects.
Put on that hedgehog, Eliza.
2.
Go on then. Good girl. How many spikes does the hedgehog have?
Okay. It's a bit
2.
Well done. Okay, what about the next one? What's that number?
3.
Okay, can you put 3 spikes on the hedgehog?
3. 3.
Brilliant work. Well done. How many spikes does that hedgehog have? Can you count them?
2, 3.
Amazing. Diane.
The next activity is the Hickory Dickory Dock activity. So the children will be learning a number song. They'll also have a dice in their pack, so they will need to roll the dice and count the spots that the dice lands on. They have a clock and they have a little mouse stick so that they can count the movements that the mouse makes.
Hickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck. Roll the dice. What did it land on?
2.
The clock struck 2. The mouse went boo. Hickory dickory dock. Let him run down. Go back to the clock. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck. What did it land? 5. He took a dive. He dived off the clock. Dive the mouse off the clock. He dives off the clock. Hickory dickory dock. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran at the clock. The clock struck. Roll that dice. The clock struck 1. The mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. Oh, bendigedig.
It's also important for children to learn to read numbers. We're not expecting them to read lots and lots of numbers when they're in nursery, but it would be really useful if they could maybe start to read numbers 1, 2, 3, numbers up to 5, or even more if they're able to. In your packs, you will have some pipe cleaners, some beads, and some number cards. What you need to do is to put the number cards onto the pipe cleaners, twist them on, and then use those beads to thread the correct number of beads.
How many do you need to put on that one?
3.
Oh, good boy. I like the way you're threading very carefully. Okay. Which number are you going to do next?
4.
Oh, good boy.
Shimmery top.
Done.
When they're dry, because the glue needs
How many's on that one?
4.
Oh, can you hold it up to show me? Good boy. That's great.
We're now going to look at early maths skills. And in nursery, this can be recognising colours, recognising and naming 2D shapes. That would be circle, square, rectangle, triangle. It may be sorting colours or shapes into the same groups. And it can be about comparing size, weight, length, those kinds of things. In your packs, you will have a piece of laminated card with colours on, and you will have some pom-poms. You will also have some tweezers. And again, the children are going to need to use that tripod grip to hold the tweezers, and it will exercise the muscles in their hands. But the main reason for this task is for the children to sort the pom-poms onto the correct colours.
All the colour pom-poms on the colours on the colour card. Off you go. What colour's that?
Green.
What colour are you getting next? Oh, what's that colour? What colour have you got next?
Orange.
What's that?
Red. And now blue.
Oh, well done. That was great sorting. Well done.
So, there's just a few things to remember when helping your child to learn at home. Lots and lots of repetition is important. Children learn by repeating things over and over again. So make sure that you allow the children to keep revisiting the activities, even if they've done it lots of times before. Children really learn from doing things over and over again, no matter how fed up we get of repeating things when we're grown-ups. Keep the sessions short and meaningful. 10 or 15 minutes is plenty for this age group, and give lots and lots of praise and encouragement. Most of all, make it fun. Learning should be fun, and I hope you can have fun too, learning with your child at home. There will be activities that are linked to the learning we're doing in nursery via Seesaw. If you prefer a paper pack to do learning at home, contact the school and we will provide some paper packs for that. For whole school closure or lockdown, there will be a weekly phone call or a video chat to the class. There will be lessons provided online, and there will be activities for your child to do learning on Seesaw. Again, if you would prefer paper packs for your child to do at home, just contact the school and we will provide those for you also. Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to register so that you can get your home learning packs for you to help with your child at home. Take care.